like they used to. Can't place your bets on the 9 to 5. Things don't work like they used to. No, there's not enough to keep you alive.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Christian Reeve Podcast. Today's guest is Rachel Sindaco, and she's going to talk about her experiences with multiple sclerosis and ocular melanoma. Welcome to the show, Rachel. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I'm excited. Ready to learn. It's one of those shows where I had to do some research. I always do research, to be clear, but I had to do more research. So understand it's one of those, like, you have to understand what you're asking. You can't just ask questions. But yeah, I thought I'd start off with, because when it's something which it might be a little bit complex, I like to go with a definition. So I found this on hopkinsmedicine.org. Multiple sclerosis, MS, is a chronic autoimmune disease of the central nervous system where the immune system attacks the myelin sheath, protecting nerves. Early symptoms often include vision changes, numbness, tingling, fatigue, and walking difficulties. While there is no cure, over 20 disease-modifying therapies can manage symptoms and slow progression. Would you say that's correct off right off the bat?
That sounds great. Yes.
Okay.
And
all right.
the myelin sheath is what protects the spinal cord, I believe.
I see. Yeah, whenever I've heard people talk about having MS, like it's a very physical condition, isn't it? So I've heard that checks out. In the summary of your book on Amazon, it states that you were diagnosed with MS as a teenager, but decided to keep your condition private for many years, determined to not let it define you. I really respect that just off the bat. Walk me through that decision and why you might be concerned about other people's opinions. Because I mean, it's your life. Do you know what I mean? But I understand. Like, just walk me through that for a second.
Okay, I actually decided with my parents at the time, because I was 17 years old when I had my unofficial diagnosis. They didn't want to diagnose me when I was 17 years old with multiple sclerosis because there was no medication out there except on a lottery system, and chances of me getting the medicine would be slim to none because of my age, and they didn't want to label me with multiple sclerosis because when I got off my parents' health care, I would not be able to get my own health insurance because nobody knew what multiple sclerosis really was. And especially an insurance company, they would think, nope, we're not going to cover you. So they diagnosed me with transverse myelitis, which is also an infection of sorts of the spinal cord. But just to make life easier for me when I had to go on my own medication or my own insurance, they said, we'll go with transverse myelitis.
So much to pull apart here, man. If you know, okay, so they knew that you had MS, but they, as you laid out there, they were unwilling to put that through because of what you just labeled, what you just laid out there. However, I think what's concerning with that is that they diagnose you with something else, which is not your condition.
Correct. And they knew it was multiple sclerosis because they did the MRI, which showed all kinds of, at the time they called them UBOs, unidentified bright objects. Now they're known as plaques. So they saw those, and they also did a lumbar puncture or a spinal tap. Those words are interchangeable. And it had, I don't know if it's blood in the serum or some kind of antibodies, but they said, okay, this is multiple sclerosis. again, I was 17 years old, and at that time, insurance was just a shit show. Sorry.
No, that may make sense. Obviously, I'm from the UK, and we've often heard about the American healthcare system, and I've heard some crazy stories both on the show and from friends in the States. I don't know necessarily if it's gotten better. I guess in some ways it has, and in others it hasn't.
It has.
Okay, well that's good to know.
I think
overall, yeah.
Yeah.
This lottery system thing I found interesting because it reminds me of certain things in the UK. For instance, if you're trying to get like a council house here in the UK, then there's a bit of a lottery situation, and there's generally not much logic to it. I would think with this lottery system, referring to you at age 17, would you not be more likely to get the medication given that you're younger and healthier as opposed to, say, someone who's older and I don't know how else to put it, closer to death?
I don't think so. I don't think that's how it worked. And I think the reason it was on a lottery system is because it was the new and only medication they had out there. So it wasn't like they were mass producing it. And when I say a lottery system, I'm envisioning actually a lottery system. They throw names in the hat, and whoever's name gets drawn, I don't know. I never even went down that path. I didn't want to go down that path. I was 17. Steroids fixed me. I went back to playing soccer. So
wow.
It was in the back of my mind, and all was good.
So this is something I wanted to focus on. So like you've got like a way of managing it. So as you said, you put it to the back of your mind. Growing up and for our adulthood, how has your experience of multiple sclerosis changed over the years? Like let's say, did you start experiencing problems?
I always had, not always, but it all started in my legs. The very first instance, I lost feeling from my waist down, and I couldn't feel the bottom of my feet. I couldn't walk. It was scary, but steroids fixed it. And then fast forward, I went off to college. I played soccer, and every so often I would start feeling tingling in my legs. My legs started to feel a little weak. So I would just seclude myself for a little bit and rest, which helped. And then when I would get home, I would go see my neurologist. He would put me on a couple of days of IV steroids, and I'd be back to normal. It was just something I did. I knew if something was going to go bad, they put me on steroids. I was young. I was like, this is going to go away, and it did. Now, fast forward 37 years, it doesn't go away. Oh, it goes away a little bit, but then there's stuff that still lingers. So it doesn't fully get back to 100%. It might get back to 95%. And over 37 years, where it was 100%, now, just because it never goes back to fully 100%, probably from the very beginning of when I started this journey at, say, 65%. I can still walk, but I look drunk when I do. Because I just kind of stumble around a little bit. There are some days that I can kill it walking, and other days that it's just not great.
This is fascinating because I always assumed it was something where it was a fixed position. Obviously, you're saying you're getting treatment and stuff, so that does change things. But I didn't realize it was something that it could be, let's say, manipulated in order to kind of change your daily experience, shall we say? Because I can kind of relate on one level. Like, it's not anywhere near the same, but like, I'm terrified of paralysis, and I suffer from sleep paralysis. So it's weird, like you're not consciously awake, you're kind of half awake, but you are aware that, oh, I can't move my body. And like that terrifies me. And there's nothing you can really do. And I always know in the moment I have to remain calm and just kind of breathe and push, like move my body until it jolts and wakes me up. It's really weird. But with that, like you've not got like full on paralysis. I guess what I'm trying to get to the point, Christian. As we know, the brain sends messages to the rest of the body to tell it what to do. But yours is not like a situation where it's like just completely cut off. It's like almost like mixed messages, like it's like disruption. And it sounds to me like the steroids and the other treatment kind of brings it back to where it needs to be. So what exactly, do you know like what's going on there? Is it like just not consistent with the messages it's sending to the rest of your body? Like, what have you been told about that?
I think it gets cut off. And I'm trying, and I also have cog fog, so now I'm trying to remember some, it's when...
It's not easy. I mean, I'm not a science expert myself, but I'm just like taking a stab in the dark.
Inflammation. It's inflammation. So what the steroids do is it takes down the inflammation. So there's something that it inflames the nerves, I guess.
Right. That makes sense.
Okay. So I'm working through my cog fog.
No, I get it. I sometimes on the show will have, there's been moments over the years where I'll be making a point and then I'll just stop and realize and panic in my head, the point's gone. And I've got to go somewhere with the point, and I don't want to just sit and be like, oh, I've just forgotten. But it happens. It happens to everyone.
It does. And I'm so glad that it does happen to everybody. So I think that with MS, your body attacks itself. So when you were talking about the myelin sheath, that's getting damaged, and eventually it can't repair itself. Now, eventually, hopefully, in the future, they come up with some kind of medication that can repair the myelin sheath. But for now, it can't. So that's why you also see the plaques, where you see the plaques, because the damage is getting done. And so they're usually white plaques. Sometimes it gets to be where they're black holes. They're actually called black holes. And at that point, I don't think it can ever get repaired, even if they do come up with something, because think about a black hole up in the sky. It just is going to suck things in and never spit them back out. So you can never fill that black hole. And I have a feeling that's kind of what it is when they see now you have a black plaque. It's basically a black hole. And you kind of want to keep them white or gray. You hope they never go black, because then you get sucked into
Well, yeah. My mind just goes to space in this. I'm just thinking of the black hole.
Right, and I love the whole space stuff. And that's why I liked it when they used to call UBOs, unidentified bright objects. I was like, yeah, that's kind of like the UFOs.
Yeah, I hate that they changed that. They don't call it UFOs anymore, do they? They call it something... Oh, I'm drawing a blank. I did an episode on
Cog fog.
No, I just can't think of the word. Like,
so they changed it? I didn't know
They changed the abbreviation to something, a UP something. It's UP something. I don't know. It's like everyone calls it UFOs. I think everyone will call it a UFO.
Because that's what it is. Just like Pluto will always be a planet to me.
Still real to me, damn it.
That's right. That was my favorite planet. It better stay there.
I like the underdog. I think that's what it is. I'm like, how dare they not call you a planet anymore? How dare they?
I know, just because you were little, and it was always a planet. It still is. Okay, we're getting a little.
Are there any things that you did in your youth that you don't do now in relation to multiple sclerosis, and like how you, the day to day? Like, is there anything major changes as far as like how you operate?
Well, I no longer play soccer, but that's just because I'm old. And
you still do
and
it.
If I ran, I could still do it. But if you would see me, even if I tried to run, I would just go right down.
Oh, really?
And then I'd probably break my face. I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I'd get up and I'd be like, "Am I bleeding? Do I still have my teeth in my mouth?" Okay. So I don't do a lot of walking, but I do have an e-bike, and I enjoy doing that. Yeah, yes, because then when my legs get tired, I just turn it on to the e-bike, so it'll assist me. I don't make it go all the way for me, but I will pedal, but not as fast as I should be, or going up a hill, forget about it. That is full throttle. Just get me up the hill.
Fair play. I respect it.
So I still like to get out and exercise. I have always loved exercising. And there will be days that my legs are saying, no, you can't exercise, but I still do it. And then I pay for it when I try to walk back into the house because it's in the garage and I have to get up steps. And I'm like, I should have listened to my body, but I love exercising. So I just do it and I pay for it.
Feeling-wise, is it like, say, like having a dead leg or pins and needles or something, like kind of like, because one thing I've noticed about that is, we've all had this experience, but like when you put too much pressure on it for too long and then you just can't move it, or it locks, or you get cramp or something, like how does that feel when that happens?
Like I'm a sloth. All of a sudden my legs don't want to move, and I have to, it doesn't matter how much your brain is telling your leg to move, it just wants to go at a snail's pace, and it's so heavy. So kind of a dead leg. It just is heavy, and it can happen. You can be walking fine, and all of a sudden it goes into sloth mode. So you're walking, and then all of a sudden the next time you go to move your leg, it's almost you stop dead and have to concentrate on getting that leg to move and grabbing whatever you can just to make it to the finish line, wherever you were going. And sometimes I have been known to just sit down on the floor because I will stand there forever, which again is not great for me and MS, because then it really wears my leg out. And so I'll just sometimes sit down on the floor and crawl the rest of the way to where I need to be, because I don't want to stand there.
No, I get it. Do you drive? Do you drive a car?
I do. Mm-hmm. I love driving.
Does it? Because I can imagine that must have its challenges sometimes. Have you had any? I don't know. Sit and say like bad experiences, but like, how do you manage it with that?
I have not.
Good. Touch wood.
Yes, and when I can actually know, because again, we drive everywhere, mm-hmm. and my husband always sits in the passenger seat,
right?
And so, just this past weekend, we went to a ball game, and then when we were coming home, I said, "You're going to have to drive. My leg isn't feeling it. You're just going to have to do it," because I do worry. I have heard about people that have MS that, especially if it affects their right leg, can't brake in time, can't move their foot over in time, and have run into people. And I do not ever want to have that happen.
That's cool that you can sort of know and predict it almost. That must be really useful.
It's my left side that is affected mostly by it, but that doesn't mean that my right side isn't going to feel. But my left side is just all the time. But my right side, if my foot, and when I don't have my proper footwear like tennis shoes, or I have my ankle boots, that all of those I walk really well in, but I was wearing sliders at the time, and I said, there's no way I'm driving home with these on, because I've walked out of my sliders before. I have a pair of Hokas, and I just start walking, and somebody will say, you left your shoe behind, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice I walked out of it. So I have to go back and pick it up.
Was this something that you were advised, like certain types of shoes, or did you just kind of figure it out yourself?
I figure it out myself. I really like Hoka tennis shoes because they're great for balance, but they're heavy. So I have my New Balance shoes, which are cloud, they feel like clouds, but they're not so great with balance. So I guess the day depends on, is my balance really off, then that's going to be the Hokas. But if my legs kind of feel heavy, Well, it's the New Balance, because then it's easier to lift my feet.
It's interesting, like, hearing this, and because it's like added things you have to think about that we all just take for granted. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Honestly, it's incredible, and it's interesting.
And you don't really have.
Say again.
It's funny. I do have to think about it, but I don't think about it in terms of MS. I get up and it's just like, what are you going to wear today? That's how I look at my shoes. What shoe am I going to wear today? I don't think it's hardship. Now, I know a lot of people out there that have MS. Everybody's different with MS. And nobody has the same symptoms. Or if you do have the same symptom, that's only one of them. There is a whole host of symptoms.
Yeah, it's just like anything in life, really, isn't it? It's like,
exactly.
For you, it's life. And it's not in any way different. For other people, I suppose, like, I look at it in wonder, because I'm like, wow, like, that's incredible, like, how you manage this, how you manage that, and you're like, well, it's just day to day, man. And I'm like, fair enough, yeah.
It's just life.
What would you say have been the biggest challenges you've faced with multiple sclerosis in terms of how it's affected your life?
I can't go out and do everything that I want to do on a whim. If I wanted to go to the mall, I would have to pack up. I would definitely pack up a rollator or transporter that's kind of like, I don't want to say those walkers. It's not like a walker, because you just move them, they glide. But it has a seat on it, so if I'm pushing that along and my legs all of a sudden decide to stop walking, I can plop down on it for a few minutes and then continue. But if I have to take that out, then it's not going to be a great day to walk anyway. So
Interesting.
So I guess you have to grab something to take with you in case you go somewhere and you're feeling great that day, and it turns out your leg said not today. And
I did wonder if you take like a goodie bag, because I know women in general always do. My girlfriend does this. She has like paracetamol and just like all sorts of stuff in there, and it's like seems excessive, but then when you need it, it's like, oh, here you go. And I'm like, genius. Yeah.
That's why we do it.
Yeah. Need to start doing that. What have been your biggest triumphs? You know, how have you fought back? I mean, we've already kind of outlined a few, but how have you fought back against MS?
I don't give it a seat at the table. It's just, if it starts to tell me I'm not walking today, I tell it, I don't want to walk today. It's not because of you, it's because I worked out too hard. Not because of you. I like to ignore it. The only thing is you can't really ignore it when it affects your balance. And that's the thing. I also have eye cancer, or it took away my vision in my eyes. So I don't know if it's because of my eye cancer or if it's because of my MS when I lose my balance. And I'm a pretty fantastic faller. And I'm always hoping somebody caught it on camera, because I'm like, we have cameras all around our house, and when I fall outside, I'll pull it up, and I think it's hysterical, and nobody else does. They're like, look, your knees are all banged up, and I'm like, I know, but it's kind of funny.
Do you just like rate it out of 10? Like, that's a 7 out of 10. I felt but way better last week.
But I get up and I laugh as long as I have my teeth in my head, then it's okay. That's my biggest fear, is to lose my teeth.
Nah, you'll be fine. Oh, God. So this is one I wanted to ask you about, because it's an autoimmune condition. During COVID-19, obviously people with autoimmune diseases were especially at risk. I remember doctors at the time were being like, you have to be especially careful and protect those that you know that have them and stuff like that. How did you navigate this and protect yourself? Like, was there anything you had to do differently other than what we all had to do?
Yeah, we all had to, but I got my first shot. I call it a shot because it really wasn't a vaccine. vaccines worked. So I got my first shot. Everything was fine, but everybody with an autoimmune disease worries because your body attacks it. So I'm putting a foreign substance in my body. The second shot, it took away my walking for 48 hours. All of a sudden, I was crawling everywhere. I could not move my legs at all. I called my neurologist. I was like, this is bad. This is really bad, that shot. And she said, yes. And she said, hold on and let's see what happens. Thank goodness, 48 hours later, it started to come back. And she told me, you never have to get another one again. And I said, it's funny because the shot is to prevent, I never got COVID either. And my husband got it twice. And he said, you better go and get tested. And I did. And no, I didn't get it. And he's gotten all of the shots. He even got the booster, all that. And he still got COVID. And here I am. I'm like, well, I'm around everybody. I'm around everybody that's had COVID. So I'm just so glad every time my doctor's office, my regular doctor's office or my pharmacy sends me, you're due for your COVID. Nope, never getting that again. There is not enough money that anybody can pay me to go get that again. Because what happens if I could have never walked again?
Yeah, right. Well, it's luck of the draw as well. Like I took the shots and I remember a distinct difference, I think in the final shot, because I think the first 2 times I took the Pfizer one and that was fine. And then the third was the Moderna and I felt like kind of a bit ill afterwards. Nothing crazy, but I just noticed this distinct difference. And I wondered if there was
like the Pfizer one too.
I think there might be a difference in the qualities of them or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I do remember, I don't know if it was COVID. I never got tested because it just seemed like everyone was ill in my house all the time at the time. It's just like,
so you're like, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there was a guy in my house who like definitely had it, but he kept going out and kind of being a douche about it. So it's like, okay, great. But I remember being like really ill like 1 week, and I thought it's probably that. But I do, because I've got like a good immune system, and I thought about not taking the shots and stuff, and it was just a gamble, really, wasn't it? But now I still wonder if it. Sorry, go on.
I cut you off.
No, you go.
I wonder if it has something to do with your blood. My sister never took any of them, and she runs a business, and all of her employees had it, and they say, oh, you need to go and get tested, and she would, and she wouldn't have it. And they are all around her hacking and coughing. And because I'm O negative, and she's also O. And the people I know that are O, even if they did get it, they didn't get it bad. And I know that probably has nothing to do with it, but in the back of my mind, I was like, I wonder if it has something to do with blood. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, it might also be like just the way our immune systems work, because generally speaking, I know in my family that immune systems are very good. I wonder if it's like our upbringing, because like now, kids are given like so many things and not really exposed to much. And when we were growing up, I'm not saying like necessarily that it's better, but like if your body has enough space to kind of react to things and fight things, obviously naturally you're going to have a better immune system. But the way in which it works is different. Like, some people's are more aggressive. I mean, it's even possible you can have too aggressive of an immune system where it actually attacks itself. So it's unpredictable what happens. Yeah, there you go. So it's unpredictable, but at the same time, you can just have a really weak immune system. But yeah, like who's to say? Like I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but obviously COVID never really went away. It became, I guess, kind of like the summer cold. Like it just keeps returning every year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's strange because people did die from it. Yeah.
I think it's just like any new disease or that comes around, it comes in full charge, and then it just starts to dilute itself over time and becomes a cold. Because that is what I think of COVID now, is another form of a cold.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, because like hundreds of years ago, people died of the flu, died of the cold, whereas now it's like not taken seriously. You know, it's like, oh,
Right.
I just have a cold. You know, I'll shake it in a day. But to be fair, you couldn't do that years ago.
Right. People were dying, but now it's a cold.
What advice could you give to people who've been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis?
I want to say it's not a death sentence. People will argue it, but I don't know of anybody that a coroner has said they died of MS. You die of complications to MS, just like everything else. You can have a cold and die of, you got pneumonia.
Or something, yeah.
Something like that. But so with MS, I look at it as you died from complications from MS. So you got some kind of weird pneumonia or whatever, and then you died from that. But don't look at it as a death sentence, because, again, somebody might say, I'm wrong, but it's not. Continue living life, even if you struggle with walking or whatever. There are things out there. You have wheelchairs. If you have nobody to push you in a wheelchair, you have a walker. There's the wheelchairs are automated. Now, not everybody can afford those, and I don't know how those would work anyway if you live in a house. But there are things to do, and surround yourself with a nice support system. I'm fortunate that I have a fantastic support system. My family, my friends, they all rallied around. When they found out, I only let everybody know probably about 5 or 6 years ago. And my sorority sisters were like, wait a minute, you would work out every day, and you played soccer, and you're in the sorority, and I like to drink. And they said they said, we had no idea. And I said, well, that was the end goal, is people wouldn't know, because I didn't want anybody to feel bad for me. And nobody knew. 37, if I was to tell my 18, 19, 20-year-old friends I have MS, they'd be like, what is that? And good luck looking it up, too. Well, we didn't have computers then either, so you'd actually have to go to the library.
Encyclopedia. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So
I never had much luck with that as well. I'd grab the encyclopedia and I'd still be like, I can't find it.
Right.
Relying on teachers. And I remember the first day when a teacher said, like, I was like, oh, do you know about this? And they were like, I don't know. And I'm like, what? What do you mean you don't know? Don't adults know everything? No. Apparently not.
No, they don't. Yeah. Look, we actually had to go read.
Yeah. It's scary now. Like, people don't do their research. I mean, like I've seen it with podcasts over the years, like interviews where someone doesn't do their research for the show, and they ask questions, and like part of it's charming. It's like they're still intrigued and there's a genuine interest there. But then other parts of it's like 5 minutes, man. 5 minutes, just go online. It's all there. It's free. You can just look it up and gain an understanding of it and kind of know what to say, what to ask, you know, because that's another thing as well. The more informed you are, especially when doing a podcast, here's some free advice for interviews. The more informed you are, the better your questions will be, because you'll have like an idea of like, well, I could ask this, but what about this? What about this? You'll have follow-ups in your mind because you've sat and thought about it. Whereas if you've done no research at all, just, I don't know, there's nothing there. There's nothing there.
I've been on a podcast that they said, okay, we're just going to open the floor up to you and you talk about. I said, can you ask me questions? Because otherwise, I'm going to go, and we're going to go this way and this way. And
well, they didn't guide you at all. They just let you just talk for like an hour.
Yes. Oh, and I can talk.
Yeah.
I can take you from as a little kid up through now and just talk and talk.
But you got to guide it a little bit, because sorry, I just
That's what I said.
this is fascinating. So What, they were just like, here you go, Rachel, you talk. We can take 5, have beer, just kick back, watch you just go ahead.
Tell us your story.
Right.
Okay, well, I've got a lot of stories I can tell. I've lived a long life, and I have a lot of stories I can tell. Do you want clean stories? Do you want dirty stories? I can do everything.
I don't get that. There's a lot of podcasts out there. I saw a post recently. Oh, actually, it was on a radio show here in the United Kingdom. And, it was like hot takes. So someone like calls in, they were like, "Oh, I just feel podcasts are lazy TV shows," which is kind of funny in retrospect. But I was like, my response to that, my girlfriend was like, you should respond to this," and I was like, "Yeah, I should." So I threw out a thing that just saying like, "You're not listening to the right podcasts then, because maybe all the clip farming ones online are like that. Like some of the quote unquote best ones I've seen are terrible." They do things I'm like, I'd never do that. I'd never dream of just asking a guest that, you know? And like, there's always room for mistakes, and I've made mistakes over the years, but I don't know. I've always kept it quite straightforward with the interviews and how you approach it. And it's like, have your research, have a clear structure. Don't let your guests go off on tangents too much. Allow for it, but then guide it. And that's another thing I'm fascinated about with that show is like, you've got to steer it somewhere. Because like, as you say, like let's say you're telling the story and then you remember this other story. So you start telling that story and then it leads off to another story. And then before you know it, you're talking about just, I don't know, last weekend at the park, we did this and it was fun and and that might be a great story, but it's like, it's not about what I originally asked you about, but then you didn't steer the ship, so that's your fault, not the guest's fault.
Right. I think I had started talking about when I first got diagnosed, and then when I got to the hospital, I said, "Now, do you have any questions?" I think I probably was the podcast.
So you were just doing everything, and they just. It's your show.
I was like, "So, any questions yet?"
That's mad. Oh, whoever did that show, you should be ashamed of yourselves. That's terrible. That's terrible.
Fortunately, all of the other ones I've been on they've been the host.
Got it, man. It's like hospitality. It's like you imagine you invite someone into your home, you treat them as your guest, you treat them well. You know. I remember one show I was on. Really quickly, we'll move on. One show I was on, because I don't often appear on other people's shows, because honestly, the interviews are just not great. Just being honest.
Yes. Yeah.
And I guess maybe I'm biased because I do interviews regularly. So for me, it's like if it's not going well, and I'm, even though I'm an actor, I find it difficult to hide my disappointment. It's just written on my face. But there was one show I remember on, and it was fun. It was a group of guys who were just shooting shit and just having fun. I was like, oh, okay, cool. But anytime you have a guest, that's your main attraction. Like that guest should feel like, I don't know, the King of England or something, just like very front and center, you know. It's different, obviously, if it's a segment within a show, I understand that. But then, even then, when they're in that segment, they should still feel like the main event, or at least an integral part. In this moment, it felt like I was sat there and they were having a conversation. I was just like, I don't know, a guy sitting at another table at the bar, and I'm like, oh, yeah, haha, yeah, cool. And occasionally they might throw me a question like, oh, what do you think, Christian? Oh, well, and then they just go off, and I'm like, should I go? Should I leave? I don't think you need me here, really, do you?
You kind of sneak out.
Yeah, to do Irish goodbye or whatever they call it, where you
That's
stuck
right.
out, don't say anything.
That's my favorite. When you're stuck somewhere and you're just like, okay, I'm going to do the Irish.
We've all been at a party like that at some point.
Yes.
But normally it's sat down, you're like sort of half an hour in and you're just questioning your life choices. Like, how did I end up here? Where did things go wrong? Was it when I became friends with this person? Or was it just, I don't know, like there's so, then it gets really deep and philosophical and you're like, oh man, maybe it's the last 5 years, you know, I shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done that. And then you're just like, maybe I should just leave. Just get out of the party. How about that?
Just sneak out the back.
Right, let's move it on. Ocular melanoma, we've already mentioned it before, so I'll give the definition. It's melanoma in or around the eye. It's a type of cancer that develops in the cells that produce pigment. Pigment gives colour to your skin, hair and eyes. Just as you can develop melanoma on your skin, you can also develop it inside your eye or on the conjunctiva. Although it is the most common eye cancer in adults, ocular melanoma is very rare. This was more recent, wasn't this? This was within the last 5 years, 10 years?
15.
15, sorry. Okay.
15, that's okay.
Yeah, that must have been a bit of a, I don't know how to put it, like it must have caught you off guard because you're already dealing with MS. You're comfortable with that. You know what to do. You've been dealing with, you know, you got it, and then this hits you out of nowhere. So walk me through that. What was that like for you?
Okay, let me start by, I think if I didn't have multiple sclerosis, my eye cancer may not have been caught. I was changing medications for my multiple sclerosis, and you had to go see an ophthalmologist. So off I go to the ophthalmologist, and I had one doctor looking in my eye, and he said, I'll be right back. He went and got a different doctor. I know that usually should be the first sign, but I was thinking in my mind, it's because I've had optic neuritis. So I thought, okay, it's optic neuritis. They may not have seen it before. Okay, when he comes back, I'll just say it's optic neuritis. He comes back and I said, if you're seeing something in there, I have optic neuritis. Maybe it just flared up a little bit. Don't worry about it. And he was like, yes, I know what optic neuritis is. And I'm thinking in my head, you don't know what optic neuritis is because where are you getting somebody? I'm the smartest person in the room as far as I'm concerned. And so he says, we're going to make you an appointment with a retina specialist. And I was like, fine. He said, I just want them to look at something. Thinking in my head, it's optic neuritis. You say you know what optic neuritis is, you don't. Fine. They send me the next week over to a retina specialist. Nobody tells me to pack a lunch, number one. I go in there at 8 o'clock in the morning. 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting there, and I am the youngest person in the room by about 20 or 30 years. Everybody else in there is silver-haired. They're going in and out of rooms, talking about glaucoma and all that. And I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure I don't have glaucoma. I don't know why I'm here, but I'm going and getting tested in every room. And I hear stuff like mass, tumor, and I'm by myself. I'm getting pictures taken. They have to give me an IV so that they can take a picture. And I'm thinking, what are they seeing that's not optic neuritis? And now it's dawning on me like, this is something serious. Shouldn't have gone by myself, but I did. 8 hours into this whole thing. Yes. The doctor came in and said, I am going to make you an appointment up at Wills Eye Hospital in Philadelphia. It looks like you have a tumor behind your eye, and we need them to, and he's showing me the pictures that they were taking. I see orange and all different colors. He knew I had ocular melanoma, but wanted the Wills Eye Hospital to make the final determination. He said, we'll make you an appointment and we'll call you and let you know when to go. So I end up going up to Wills Eye Hospital. Thank goodness I had my husband with me. 8 hours later, ran through all the same tests, and they said, you have ocular melanoma. This was on a Monday. Go home. And we lived in Maryland, so it was 3.5 hours. Go home, make sure somebody can watch over your children. You need to come back on Thursday because we're going to put a radiation plaque behind your eye. Now, that's what I focus on. I'm thinking, how are they going to get this thing behind my eye? What do? Do they pull my eyeball out? Do they shove it back there? Do they cut under my eye? And how is this going to get back there? I can't focus on anything else, but you're coming back, we're doing the surgery, then on Monday we'll remove it, and then we'll see how that takes place. All right, so we drive home and drive back. I get to stay in I want to call it a nursing home, but I don't think it was a nurse. It was like a retirement home. So it was, the place was lovely. Our place had 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a dining room, a living room, a kitchen. Because I was radioactive, so they had all kinds of things so I wouldn't leave the room. Bracelets on me, big signs on me saying radioactive, because I wasn't allowed to be near anybody. And they went and they did the surgery, and they sew your eyelid shut. And I didn't know my eyelid was sewn shut. I didn't know it was sewn shut until I went to open my eye. And you don't think about when you open your eyes, both fly open. And the pain that shot through me, I was like, oh my gosh, this hurts so bad. So for 4 days, I just kept my eyes shut because I was so afraid to even try to open one that it would pull on the other one. So for 4 days, I was there getting books read to me, listening to music, sleeping a lot. But I got to have the stitches taken out on Monday after they removed the disc and went home. And the good news is the tumor is totally shrunk. It's flat. And hopefully it never spreads to any of my other organs. So we're at a good place now. It was a little rocky.
See, whenever I'm like listening to a story and the storyteller's really good, I'm like, I'm there. I can feel it. I can imagine it. And I'm just like on the edge of my seat, like, oh my God. Like, oh my God. I'm happy that you're okay, firstly.
Thank you. So am I.
Yeah. Has it affected your vision in any way? Do you have partial vision? Okay.
I only have peripheral vision in my left eye. I cannot see straight ahead. So my right eye works overtime. And at night, and this is a thing, at night I don't like to drive at night because the headlights really mess with my left eye. And you can't say I'm blind in that eye because light does get through, especially with the peripheral, so I just can't see straight forward. My central vision, because that's where the tumor was, right on my optic nerve. There comes optic neuritis, that's why I knew everything.
So that was a direct result of having ocular melanoma, like that's, or was it just kind of like because of this, the surgery that you had to have, like what actually caused the partial vision?
Because the tumor was on my optic nerve.
Okay. And
they have to put the radiation disc, which is killing the tumor, which also kills your sight. It's right on your optic nerve, so it's going to destroy. Yeah. And again, I got to keep my eye. A lot of people with ocular melanoma, they have to lose their eye. And so I'm very grateful that mine was able to be saved.
What advice could you give to people?
They have come... They have come a long way with fake eyes now. They attach it to your nerve or to your muscle or whatever, so they move in tandem together. Even though you can't see out of that eye, it's not like. Do you ever watch Columbo? Have you ever seen that show Columbo?
Yeah, not for years though, but I love a bit of Columbo.
Yeah, but he had a fake eye, and I always picked up on it. Well, he had cancer as a child, so he always had the glass eye. And
Whoa,
I can always recognize that his one eye would move and his other eye wouldn't. And now they make them so that they move together. And I love that they've come that far with eyes, in case I would ever need to have a fake eye, but hopefully I won't.
Nah, you'd be fine.
And hopefully nobody has to. I wish that nobody had to. And they tell you, don't put things in your eyes. And they come at you for a little bit. I had to get a shot in my eye once a month, so I'd have to go back. And they tell you, I was always told as a kid, don't put anything in your eye. Make sure nothing goes in your eye. And then you're getting your eye clamped open with a metal clamp, and you see them coming at you with a shot. And you're like, but I'm told never put anything in my eye, don't put it in my eye. And they put it in your eye, and then you see the bubbles. And it does help. I mean, it didn't help me, but people that get this done once a month for a long time, it helps. And I imagine they get used to it. After 4 times, I don't think I would ever get used to it. I was so grateful when they said, okay, this isn't working, so we'll just stop it. And I think I actually had a party after that. I was like, I don't have to get it done anymore.
What advice could you give to people who've just been diagnosed with ocular melanoma?
That's a hard one. Depending on, I say that because there's a big difference between multiple sclerosis and ocular melanoma. Like we talked, I don't see MS as a life sentence. And ocular melanoma, depending on how big the tumor is and what the chances of it metastasizing, live your life the best way you can. Get out there and do stuff. I would like to think that everybody will have a long, healthy life, but I've seen too many ocular melanoma patients that didn't get the long life that they deserved. So that one's a little harder. Just get on treatment as soon as you can. And hopefully the treatment kills it and you go on to live a long, healthy life. That one is a little harder.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
In the notes that you sent over to me, you stated that you are an eternal optimist and find humour at every turn. How do you achieve this?
Like I said, I just hope video cameras are around when I'm fine. No, it helps to have good people around me, a great support system. Still go out and have fun, and who cares if I have to take a ride in a rollator because my legs don't want to work, I still smile and laugh and wave to people. And little kids, they want to walk past me, and I'm like, hey, I don't care what anybody else thinks, and I think that helps a lot. And if I trip and they think that I've had too much to drink at 9 a.m, so be it.
Do you get problems with that sometimes, like police officers or something? They're like, ma'am, have you been drinking?
Well, it's funny. It is funny that people think that people with MS are perpetually drunk because you stumble around a lot. And your balance is off, and so you're just weaving all around, and you're just like, I'm not drinking. You can smell my breath.
I was gonna say, if you have to do the test where they make you walk in a straight line, it's like you'd be screwed.
I'm worried about that.
What do I do? I promise you, I'm not drunk.
I've actually worried about that, and my neurologist says you just keep your card with you and just say, here it is.
Well, surely as well, like you could, because that comes after the breathalyzer, doesn't it? Or this.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I never have to find out.
Yeah, no, you'd be fine.
Oh, yeah. I would dare them to ask me to walk. I'd be like, okay, help me out of the car. Let me hold on to your arm, but I need your left arm or your right arm. Because whenever I hold somebody's arm, it has to be their right arm because of my left eye being thrown off that way and my left leg. So people always want to give me their left arm. And I'm like, but I need to use my left arm, so I need your right arm.
You've written a book about your experiences, and it's called, I love this title, From a Kick in the Head to a Kick in the Ass. There you go.
There it is.
Look at the cover. Awesome. Love that.
Yeah, I was so excited when I was making the cover because I wanted to have the eye patch, even though I don't wear an eye patch, but after you have the surgery for it, you have to wear an eye patch for a while because you're putting drops in your eyes, a lot of drops in your eyes, and it feels like sand. And then the bow tie, that's for multiple sclerosis, the orange bow tie. And then the cane is for both, I never know, is it my optic neuritis or my ocular melanoma, or is it my MS that's making me stumble around, so I have to grab a cane. I loved it.
So it's based on memoir of
Yes.
your experiences. Why did you choose to write this book and share it with the world? Why choose to open up about these experiences?
All right, last January, I came across my journals when I was 17. My neurologist had said, you should start journaling. And every day, if you have a different feeling, like if you have numbness in your hands or if you have numbness in your legs, document it all. And if you have trouble with your eyes, document it. So I started doing that, and I came across it, and I thought, you know what, I should write a book. It's been 37 years. I should write a book about my journey. And I did it I have 2 grown sons, and I wanted them to understand. I never told them about multiple sclerosis or my eye cancer until they were in high school. I didn't want them to maybe they wouldn't, but I didn't want them to worry about me and think that things are off, so we always tried to ignore it. I ignore things really well. And
I was going to say, how did you hide? I mean, like, mum falls a lot. Why?
Well, at that point, it wasn't falling a lot.
Okay.
But I would have a nurse come and hook me up with steroids. So she would come in and hook me up with my IV, and then she would leave, and then I would take care of the rest. So if I had a 4-day IV steroid, I would just hook myself up with the medication and then take it out. And the boys would come home from school, and they would see me sitting on the couch or putting the new bag of medicine in my arm. And they would say, what's going on? And I'd say, I must have hurt my leg. So the nurse came out and is giving me steroids. It's fine. And then I hated removing my own IV for a while because I was afraid that I would break it off and it would travel to my heart and I'd kill myself. But then I found out I didn't have to worry about it because they used, plastic. It's not metal. And so I used to have my husband at first pull them out, so I'd have to wait until he got home from work. But I forgot what the question was.
So do I. I'm just engrossed in the story now. I guess we were just kind of like reflecting on why you chose to write the book and share it.
Yes, and so after writing it, I shared it with a couple of people, and they said, you really need to publish this. This will help, hopefully it will help others, and I did, and I'm glad I did, because people that don't have either multiple sclerosis or ocular melanoma have gotten in contact with me and said, you know what, you make me, I need to better myself. And I'm like, well, that's not what I meant to do. And they said, but you're carrying all that around and we have nothing. and so then I thought, okay, well, that is good. Start making something for yourselves. Do stuff. I'm very happy that people are looking at it that way. And the other thing, I have met, so ocular melanoma, 6 in a million chance of getting it. I have met, including myself, 8 people that have both MS and ocular melanoma. How, if it's 6 in a million, how is it that I know of 8 of us that have both ocular melanoma and MS. That's kind of crazy. 2 more than just the 6 in a million for ocular melanoma that have both.
Small world, I guess. It's kind of crazy, though.
Yeah, and Australia, met somebody in Australia, and I would like to think, well, maybe it's just all of us lived in the same area. Maybe it's a cluster situation. No.
I wonder sometimes, like, how often it is that things get reported as well, because I'm sure there's a lot more, but it's like what actually gets reported. Because people...
Especially with multiple sclerosis.
Well, there you go.
You wake up,
your
and
decision.
you just have... Yeah, or you have pins and needles and just say, "Wow, that's weird. I slept on it wrong." Because as quickly as the pins and needles can come, they can go away. So they may think, well, it's just that, and every so often they get that, and you just think, but why would you go if you're not having really big issues? I also don't like to just run to a doctor for any reason.
Are you sort of implying that you could have it like on an acute level? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yes. Oh, I'm sure there are many people out there that have it but aren't going in for an MRI just to see what's going on in their brain, or getting a spinal tap just for the fun of it.
Yeah, I never really thought about that. You might notice I've got like a white eyelash, right? And like white skin here, like whiter.
Yeah.
So beginning of last year, I've not had it all my life. It started gradually turning white, which was kind of crazy. And at first I was like, I'm getting older. I've got white hairs. Maybe it's that. Then it all goes white, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I think it might have been my mum in the end that was like, are you gonna get it checked out? And I was like, I guess I probably have to, really, don't I? So I did, and took forever. Got my bloods, and they're kind of useless, to be honest. They didn't. Even to this day, I'm not like 100%, because I went in there with my, Googled, like, oh, I think it might be this, but again, you're the doctor, not me, so like you would know, and they really did not know. And I remember like every session I would have, like I remember one time I was like, oh well, I think it might be this, and then the next day they've typed acute and I'm like, see,
really?
you just like diagnose stuff based on what the patient says, like, come on. But best guess is that I have poliosis and vitiligo. Vitiligo. So poliosis is to do like the pigmentation with the eyelashes, or like hair, and then vitiligo is typically more with your skin. And there's two types. There's like one which is like where it's centered in a particular area, and the other is like where it can be all over your body. So I got a bit on my face and a bit elsewhere, and it's like, okay. And I know that it's like stress induced as well, which is
okay. So like gray hair, yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting how that works out, because I just assumed old age with a lot of it, but no, it's I know these things can lay dormant, and then something can flare it up, which is interesting. So it's, with the whole acute argument, there might be a lot of people that have things that are laying dormant and they never arise, and you never know. Obviously things can skip generations, so I think it was my great granddad who had vitiligo, and now I have it, so it's like it can happen. But
yeah, that's like with my multiple sclerosis. They think that when I was playing soccer and got kicked in the head, that's what opened the gateway for MS. So I'm wondering...
Well, so it's plausible you could have never developed it?
Possible. Anything's possible, right?
I suppose it makes sense, doesn't it? Because you carry a gene that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to open up. I don't know. I think that's interesting.
Right, because they say sometimes it takes a traumatic event to really... Right?
Yeah.
So, and I don't know, but I'm curious. Did an ophthalmologist look at your eye and everything?
No, not had anyone look at it.
And there's no vision issues?
No vision issues. 2020, okay. I could fly a plane. Because like yourself, I'm quite like if there's a noticeable issue, I will get it checked out. And I did, and the blood said that I had like vitamin D deficiency, which is very common in the UK. We don't get a lot of sun, so it's like I take like vitamin D for that. And then there was a folate deficiency, a small one, just meant I had to like change diet a little bit. But yeah, fine. No underlying health issues. Yeah. No worries. So, and that was my bigger thing. I was like, if there is something attached to it, I want to know. But apparently not.
Right.
So,
but at least they did the blood work, which is a good thing. Yeah. And I guess now that I see it, I was going to say, well, if you didn't like, I kind of like the blonde, but if you didn't like it, you just throw on some of your girlfriend's mascara and go on with it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I don't really care because I'm not particularly like image conscious. Like I like to take care of myself. Like, I think like any normal dude. But yeah, I mean, like with acting, it's not a problem. You just put makeup on. You can use mascara or whatever. It's not really. Doesn't bother me.
In fact, I didn't even notice until your eyes are pretty, though.
Thank you.
Very pretty.
I'll take that.
Yeah. But now you have to just protect them. Wear sunglasses because it's the light-colored eyes. I have green, and it's.
What's funny is I do. I wear them like all the time when I'm outside. Not because anyone told me to, but like you said, like we've got that. Intensity of light, and when it's really, really sunny. It just beams in your eyes. So I think it's worth taking precautions like that. And also I like to just hide my eyes from the world. It's like be mysterious, like that.
Yeah. I actually have sunglasses that I wear in the house because we get sun that comes directly in. We have windows. And I usually, it's not that time of day yet, but I'll have sunglasses on in the house just to protect my eyes. Even though they say that ocular melanoma, it's not the same as regular melanoma, that you don't get it. Skin melanoma and ocular melanoma really don't have any connections except for the pigment that typically goes for lighter colored eyes. But I still swear, because it's in my left eye, that somehow the sun played some kind of. I would drive and the sun comes in to the left and would hit my left eye. Now, I have no proof and nobody is telling me that yes, that's how it is, but I always wear my sunglasses now because I fear a revival of it.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, to me, it sounds like you've really taken all the precautions you can. And you're smashing it, you know what I mean? Like, what more can you do, Got
to be your best advocate.
There you go.
Yeah.
What did writing this book teach you?
What did it teach me? I'm trying to think. I knew everything about myself. I know what it taught me. It taught me when I sit down to do something and I follow through. It only took me 6 months I started it at the end of January. And I published it the end of July. And once I got rolling on it, it made it, the one thing I do know is I never want to write another one. People have said to me they can't wait for the second book. And I said, well, you're going to be waiting a long time because I'm not doing it. I could go on forever, and I know people don't like real long books, so I tried to keep it 200 pages. But I could go on forever and talk about anything and everything. Like I said, I love to talk. You just engage me in a conversation, and this podcast, we could go on for like 5 hours, and I'd say, can I take a break real quick to go to the bathroom?
My favorite type of guest. Maybe something you should think about in the future is getting like not like necessarily like a co-author, but someone who could sit down and do like interviews with you and like write for you. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like you're still heading it and it's your stories, but like they're taking the brunt of the work basically. Because I know where you're coming from. Like people have said to me, like, would you ever write a book? And I'm like, absolutely not. Like just because I've heard the stories, I know how much it takes, and I'm like, I've tried to sit down and write novels before, and I'm like, I get bored. whereas I like podcasts, I like public speaking, that kind of medium, audiobooks, love all of that. We just all like different types of media. Do you know what I mean? Like some of us, you're a storyteller, but sitting and writing about it, it's not. It's just kind of boring. I don't know. If you're a writer, you gotta love it, just like anything else in life.
I'm not a writer. In fact, it's funny when people say, "Oh, but you're an author," and I'm like,
technically, yeah. No, you are.
Technically,
yeah, you're an author.
Yeah, and if somebody would have asked me from the time I was in elementary school until a year and a half ago, do you want to be an author? I would say, no way. And then a bug got up my butt, and I said, okay, I'm going to take my journals. I did have some people ask me some questions. Throw me a question so I can dive into that. And so that helped. But I don't want to do this again.
I get it. I mean, it's a big congratulations. It's a big achievement, writing a book. I wouldn't completely ever rule it out. I think it's one of those bucket list things. You know what I mean? It's like, I just think it's awesome to be able to say you've done that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think, like with anything in life, like what things look like on paper versus the actuality of it are very different. And you gotta love the process. Like for instance, I've been doing podcasts for 6 years now, and podcasts are a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of time. But I love talking to people. This is the easy part. It's just talking to people and enjoying the conversation. It's all the stuff you have to do behind the scenes that takes forever. But I like seeing, when I'm reviewing, I like seeing kind of like, oh yeah, this was a good conversation, and look what happened, and like, people are going to enjoy this. And that's kind of what helps me get through the process of all of that stuff, because I'm like, well, at least people are going to appreciate it and maybe get the same feeling that I had interviewing this person, Hopefully.
I'm hoping you take out all of my ums.
No, I leave that stuff in, man. I love it. I like it to feel as natural as possible. I
hear myself saying stuff like that, and I wish I didn't.
It's natural, though.
It drives me crazy.
It's how human beings speak. I mean, to be fair, because I use Riverside these days, there's a big chance it'll just automatically cut it out. So, because where I focus my editing is more looking at clips and seeing, okay, what's good, what's bad, checking audio levels, making sure everything sounds right from that perspective, and that there's no major teething issues. But Riverside, it's just an advert at this point. Sponsor me. Riverside's good. I made the switch about somewhere in the last 6 months. Used to be a Zoom thing, and that was obviously meant that I was constantly doing my own editing. And I switched to Riverside, and overall it's been better. Like, everything is direct in, it's over the internet, it saves your files quickly in real time, it does all the clips and everything for you. So it's taken a lot of the time out of the process. It's made it a lot easier, but I'm still overseeing everything and kind of making sure it's in line with what I need and so on. But yeah, honestly, I'd recommend it. So there we go.
Yeah, they do seem to be. I've been on a couple of podcasts that use Riverside.
It's just the way to go. I saw an advert actually before we got on for Riverside, and I was like, this is weird. I'm using it. Anyway, the people in the advert were saying how Zoom has this like particular sound. I was like, oh, what, of a Zoom call? And it's like, yeah. And even if you put your microphone set up and everything into it, you can still kind of feel it. But one good thing is that, much like Riverside, it does the switching automatically thing, like focusing on the speaker, but Riverside does it a little bit better. It just does it better. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's, you got to try new things. I'd heard about Riverside years ago, and it wasn't great years ago, but it's better now, and I'm happy with it. So there we are.
And you enjoy doing the podcasting. I think that would be so fun to podcast and interview and talk to people.
No, I mean, I think as long as you're prepared to put the work in, it's honestly worth doing. I mean, I've like I said, 6 years. I've never lost my passion for interviewing people. I've never lost the passion for podcasting. I've been like upset that it hasn't reached more people and stuff over the years, and sometimes resented the workload and whatnot. But I've never not enjoyed doing the actual show. Because you meet people, you tell stories, you absorb their stories, you get inspired, and it's made me a better conversationist. A new word.
Yeah, I think.
I'm using it now. It's a new word.
That's right.
Watch it. Yeah.
Call into the dictionary people and say,
listen,
this is our new word.
You need to add this word because it suits me. No. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm old-fashioned when it comes to podcasting. I refuse to do it the way modern podcasters do it. And the best interviewers I've seen tend to do it kind of the old style, which is better, I think. I've heard people say, like, you should shorten the show, you should make it, appeal to an audience that doesn't, well, they don't put it this way, but they've said, like, appeal to the people that, want a shorter show. And I'm like, listen, if you want a shorter show, don't listen to podcasts.
Right.
Like, I can't help
because
the fact that your attention...
Well,
I can't help that people's attention spans are like 15 seconds. Like, that's not my problem. Like, I mean, it's people know. I've said this before, I say it again. When do you consume podcasts? Everyone consumes podcasts pretty much the same way. You put it on in the background while you're doing something. It's rare you just sit there and you're invested and you listen to it fully, unless you've got like a connection to it. So, for example, people listening who have multiple sclerosis or ocular melanoma might listen and be like 100% engaged and just fully invested, and nothing else matters, and that's great. There might be people that are interested just solely for the love of the game, love of the show. I don't know. So it's not uncommon. I've sat down and fully listened to podcasts before, but I think you've really got to be like 100% invested. Like, this is like my favorite celebrity, or this is my favorite topic, or whatever. But most of the time, you put it on in the background. I'm doing some drawing. I'm driving to work. I know there's people that listen to the show in that way, and I'm like, yeah, man, like, that's what I do. Like, that's how it should be consumed. And I realize as well, the show's long. Like, sometimes I've done longer shows, and you come back, you listen to it later. It's a great medium that can be sort of absorbed or consumed in different ways, and I think that's ideal. But
I like to listen to podcasts on road trips, because it doesn't matter how it could go on for hours, and I'm just like, I'm learning stuff.
It's good, isn't it? It's I don't think it's as distracting as well as listening to music, because when you're driving, I don't drive, but I've seen it. Like, sometimes you really got to focus, and having something light on, like a podcast or talk radio, is probably a lot better than having like loud music, because it's gonna distract you, or it's just like brain fog, really, isn't it? Clouding. I don't know. Like, I have to do it sometimes. I have to turn stuff off. If I'm really focusing, I'll have nothing on, like when I'm doing my work and stuff.
I tend to talk back to the shows too. Like, I get that. I totally understand.
Well, that's what I like this show to be, is more conversational. I like that idea that I've often pitched it as, it's like a show where, let's say you're sat in a room next to a table, or you're nearby, or maybe you're at the same table, and you're not contributing, but you're just listening. That's what this show is.
Well, people tell me that reading my book is like having a conversation with me.
Perfect.
They said they feel like they're sitting in the room with me as I'm talking to them. And I said, I don't know how a lot of people would think about that, but that's exactly how I wanted to write the book, that I'm just having a conversation.
It's good.
That's just how I am.
I'll make sure that the links are in the bio so people can know where to buy that. It's on Amazon. Found it on Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Kobo.
Okay. The big boys.
I don't know. I think there's a couple of. It's such a niche book, though, that it's.
It can catch on though. You never know.
You never know.
Do you know what I mean? That's why you're on a show like this. Like now, it's exposed to people that wouldn't have heard it before, and they might check it out or recommend it to a friend, or because funnily enough, the whole word of mouth thing has never died. I've heard of people.
Awesome.
It's great. Like there's people who suggest my show sometimes, and they're like, "Oh, I heard it through this person who recommended it," and I'm like, "That is so powerful because it's not only a recommendation, but people respect people's recommendations. More so than like if you see like a critic and about, let's say they're reviewing a film and the film critic said it was this, you're going to value your friend's opinion who was like, this film is amazing, you got to see this. You're probably going to take that more seriously than, oh, this film critic who's paid to do this said that it sucked. Like,
absolutely. And same with any paid ad advertising. I could never get into that. Why am I paying somebody to advertise? Word of mouth is the best driver, I think.
I mean, it depends. I think it's just from my marketing background, but like paid advertising, it depends on your goal, depends on what you're trying to achieve. Like if you're trying to drive website traffic, leads, etc., like that can be good. I think for something like what you're doing, it could be useful for a book. But again, when you compare it to like going on people's shows, talking about it, they've got reach, it's organic. Organic traffic is always better than paid traffic, because paid traffic is getting it in front of people who wouldn't have otherwise seen it, but organic is free, and it's genuine traffic. So like I've seen that you've appeared on other shows, like I think there was another show that you appeared on that's specifically about like eye conditions and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that was through the Ocular Melanoma Society.
Right. Perfect. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's yes. Hitting the right audience. They're going to be really invested. They now discover you and your story, and now they're invested in you. It's perfect. I don't know how much better advertising you could really do, And
my goal, again, when I started this whole thing, it was for my boys. And so now it's just an added bonus that I've had other people out there buying the book and leaving me feedback, which I hear is a very tough thing to do. It is tough because I think out of the books I've sold, only 27 people have left feedback.
That's
of course,
incredible,
that's only on Amazon. And it is so exciting that everybody's loved it so far.
The best way to always look at that as well is imagine those people were in a room, like looking at you, watching you. That's 27 people, man. Yeah. That's a lot of people.
It is. I just wish more people would leave, because I know it's sold to more people than that. I just wish more people would. But I have had people reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram or wherever saying, I have tried to leave a review on Amazon, or I think people have a better shot on Barnes and Noble, but they said for some reason, I said, I don't know. I don't know why it's not letting you leave a review.
It's weird. It's just a problem.
It is.
Problem with Amazon. Might have to reach out to them.
Yeah, I don't know. But when you don't know the people, you're like, I can't even help you. I don't know what to tell you.
Right. Final part of the show. A couple of final questions for you to round things out for today. What have your medical conditions taught you about life?
Give me a minute. Don't give up on life. I have been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, which people think is a death sentence, ocular melanoma, which I wasn't going to let that pull me down, especially since mine isn't as bad as it can be. But I keep my eye on the ball, my proverbial eye on the ball, to make sure I go to all of my doctor's appointments. I refuse to skip appointments, especially if it's appointments that are looking for metastasizing, because that is a huge thing with ocular melanoma. It will metastasize to your liver, your lungs. But if you stay on top of that, your chances of survival are better. So the things I've learned is to pay attention to my body. It will tell you when something's going on. I'm not saying I go to the doctor for every ache and pain, but I've been living with multiple sclerosis for 37 years, so I kind of know when something's a little different that I need to pay attention to. And with ocular melanoma, if I don't do this, but I think that if I felt, I don't know what it would feel like if you have a liver problem. If I felt a twang in my liver, I'd be like, uh-oh, is it metastasizing? Again, I wouldn't do it, I don't think, but those are the things that run through my head. Like, pay attention to your body. I think that answered your question.
Thank you.
I may have gone off.
What's the worst advice you've ever received?
Oh, boy. There are a lot of... Okay, let me say. I know people try to be helpful, but diet. With multiple sclerosis, people say, have you tried this diet? I hear that this is a cure for multiple sclerosis. Have you tried oh yeah, food. Now I get that.
No, just that statement. Oh, I heard this was a cure for MS. What?
Yes.
What?
Oh yeah. Or, people say, oh, well, my mom's brother's son, okay, so your cousin, had MS and he cured it by blah. Well, isn't that nice? He cured it. I've never heard of anybody getting cured by it, but hey, that's awesome. Are we sure he had MS? I don't know, That people always know someone that something works great for. And I'm like, well, good. I'm very happy. They say, oh, well, if you're on an all-meat diet, and I say, well, I'm a vegetarian, and I've heard the opposite. People will say, oh, if you're a vegetarian, but the intake in your body will be better for this. And I said, well, I've been a vegetarian for 35 years, and I've had MS for 37, so I don't know. And then people, well, if you eat this meat, yes, I've heard that too, but I know a lot of people that have MS that are on that meat diet and they still have MS. I don't know. But if you think you have the cure for it, why don't you go and be a neurologist? Go to school and you'll find that it's just not that easy. Because if it was that easy, we wouldn't have MS.
I'm sure someone will find a cure one day, but yeah, there will be a trained medical professional who's been
correct. But
searching
it does
for
just
years.
drive me crazy. Yeah. Oh, I heard, or I had somebody, and they can walk just fine. Well, they call this the snowflake. I hate the term, the snowflake disease, because not every MS patient is different. So it's like a snowflake. Two snowflakes are the same. But I hate that term, snowflake.
It's kind of mean, really, isn't it? Yeah,
I know, but yeah, it's such a stupid. But I get it. There's no two snowflakes when they're falling from the sky are the same. So no two MS patients are the same. I just wish we could come up with a better term than snowflake. I'm like, cringe.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
Have I ever received? I've received a lot of good, but what was the best? Oh, before I give you the best one, I have to go back to the worst really quick. I had a neurologist. I had just met her. I had moved to a new area, and I went in to see her. She had a cane, and I went in there. She had looked at my MRIs and all of this information, and when I came in and I walked in normal, I may have even skipped in, I don't know, and she says to me, your MRIs are horrible. You have so many plaques, and you should be in a wheelchair. And I stood up and I said, it was nice to meet you. I'm not in a wheelchair. Goodbye. And I walked out. And I have never had a neurologist. Was she mad that she had a cane and I didn't? And she didn't even have MS.
It just sounds like projection, really. It's just like...
Yes. Oh, I reported her. I don't know whatever happened to her, but nobody does that. Even if they get wheeled in on a, I don't know,
as a doctor, you shouldn't wish bad or ill on your patients. You know? You should be happy.
Right,
be like, oh my God, you don't have to walk with a cane, and you're not in a wheelchair. This is amazing. You know, like that should be the response.
And also, you don't just lead off with your MRI is horrible. You have a lot of.
What's wrong with you?
What? So I may have even skipped back out. I don't know. Bye-bye. I'll get a new doctor. Okay, so the best doctor, I had, after that neurologist, I have had phenomenal neurologists, except for that one, that are very, they tend to fall into my range, optimistic. If you're not feeling well, we're going to get you feeling well. You seem to do very well with IV steroids. Anytime you need IV steroids, you just let us know. We're going to get you on that. And that just makes me feel so much better that I'm not to the point where they're like, oh, God. They hold their heads and run out of the room saying there's nothing we can do for her anymore. But there is something that can be done. My legs give way. They're like, that's okay. You call us and we will put you on a 3-day IV steroid course. Just call us and we will get with your insurance company and we'll get you on it. And I appreciate that, because I have heard some neurologists say to patients, oh, you shouldn't take that many steroids. If it makes you feel better, take the steroids. That's how I see it. Because what are you saving? You're saving it for, so you can just lay there and sleep the day away. If it's going to have any bad effect, which I'm not even sure what bad effect. I'm sure there are bad effects to it if you're on it all the time. But if you go on it for once every 4 months, 6 months, whatever, I would rather take that small risk of, I don't know, maybe it hurting my kidney or something. I don't even know. My neurologists have never whispered to me, like, if you take this every 3 or 4 months, you're gonna end up on dialysis or something. I don't know. But to me, sometimes there's a risk that I'm willing to take, and that's one of them. And I'm glad that my neurologist team agree with me. I mean, I don't go on them every 3 or 4 months, but if I had to, they would still do it.
No, it's refreshing to hear that they're that accommodating, positive. It's exactly what you want from a doctor. Hands-on, invested.
They're on your side.
Yeah, right.
Yes. And if you don't have a doctor on your side, you need a new doctor.
There you go.
Yes.
What's the biggest life lesson you've learned so far?
People can be mean. I say that because I don't know that they intentionally mean to be mean.
Well, they do. Then they're assholes.
They probably do. Yeah, they are. But again, you get that sideways glare. Okay, so I can be at a bar and have one drink, but I walked in stumbling and I had one drink, and they look at you sideways like, you've had a lot to drink. And I'm like, first drink, still sitting here in front of me, and they're very judgmental when they don't. And okay, now at the same time, I'm in a bar, so I kind of get that, but you saw me walk in. So maybe they thought I was from another bar. I don't know. But the judgmental look, and it can be at the same bar every time. So I guess people think that you're just drunk 24 hours a day.
The thing about that bothers me about that, though, Rachel, is that, like, everyone's been drunk at some point in their life. Everybody has been so drunk they had to be carried out of somewhere. It happens. And
Yes.
it's not great, and you have to learn your limits, where to draw the line, etc. But you also never know what someone's dealing with either. So in your case, it's like, I'm not drunk, I just have MS, right? For other people, They might have just lost a loved one and they're not dealing with it well, or the worst news possible, or it was a good day, but they just had a bit too much, or they got spiked, or you know what I mean. Like you never know. And I know exactly what you mean. Like this judgmental attitude from people who often are morally bankrupt, and actually are hypocrites. And there's just projection. They just have nothing better to do than judge people. No, it's just disappointing, to be honest. I mean, I don't care what people think, but I find it disappointing.
And I agree. I don't care what people think, but the problem, I think what makes me mad is that it's when I stand up, because I can be having a conversation with these people, not slurring anything, but when I stand up to walk and my legs, they get rubbery, and I have to have, because I've learned just to take a cane in with me so people don't actually think that I'm drunk all the time, although I don't know what they think. But when I'm sitting there carrying on conversation with people, carrying on a decent conversation with people, sometimes we use our brains, and then as soon as you stand up, they look like, oh my gosh, how much she had to drink, and I'll turn around and I'll say I have MS. But I anymore I just laugh about it. I'm like, geez, what if I took a spill right here? They would think I was drunk, and then I would get up. I don't know. I guess I've just gotten used to it, and I don't care. I laugh about everything. I'm like, they think I'm drunk. The one time we went to a band, and my legs just weren't working, so my husband put me up on his back. I had to go use the bathroom, and I hadn't had one single drink, and there was a lady, oh, you're having a great time. I was like,
brilliant.
I'm pretty sure I gave her the double bird, and I was like, you're wasted. You're trying to throw that on me, because she was just drunk, double fisting, and I was like, okay, project it onto me. You're having a good time.
All right, my final question for you. Do you have any upcoming projects or final thoughts that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Well, I don't have any book projects or anything like that, but I have found that I like diamond painting. Have you ever heard of that?
I have not.
It is fun. I have one right here.
Cool.
It's almost done. Not that anybody really wants to see what I'm doing, but...
yeah, we do.
Okay. Can't get it to come over here. Oh, here we go.
That's weird.
Yeah, so there are these beads.
Wow. Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, and
for those who are listening to the show, the best way I can describe it is kind of like, I think I've seen similar things in like Spain, maybe like the mosaic style in Spain. Do they do that in Spain? I think they do.
I don't know. I know incredible. I did in my house.
So it's like lots and lots and lots and lots of beads. It's really
lots
cool.
of beads to make. This one is of birds.
Incredible.
But I sent pictures, and I'm waiting for it to come in, of like my nephew. And so I'm going to make a bead painting of him for my nephew's wife for Mother's Day.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, that'd be a great gift as well. I'll be stoked to get something like that.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
And it's a good challenge for my eye, because my depth perception isn't great, and then it also works on my hand motor skills, my small motor skills. So just helping myself out.
Nice, smashing it. Talented. Yeah. Thank you so much for being on the show, Rachel. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. I feel we've really deep dived into all of this and really given a good understanding of things, but just like from your unique perspective. And I just wanted to say thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on. Absolute
pleasure. For the listeners of the Christian Reeve Podcast, I'll make sure to include links to Rachel's book and where you can find her online and everything. So go out of your way to check out that book and buy that book. Do it now. As always, thank you so much for watching and listening. Be safe, be well, and I'll see you all in the next one.